6, a helping hand with your land.
Hey guys, Neil from Essex here. Today I'm out with a Kubota MX 5200 and a Woods 96-inch landscape rake. I'm gonna make a couple passes back here in this field, maybe talk to you a little bit about what landscape rakes are good for and if one might be worth having for your tractor. Today is making some passes back and forth through this field to try to take out some of the rocks and corn stubble and trash that's accumulated in it. You may recognize this place. I've done a lot of YouTube videos out here. It's a place that I tend to bring big tractors and other equipment where I need to be able to get away from the dealership and run around a little bit. As we've been doing, that's the amount of crap is accumulated out here. We'll call it crap because that's what it is. We've been having a local farmer put corn in the field here for the last several years, but I've dropped trees into here out with chainsaws. I've been out with some big tractors showing tillage equipment and left some big wet ruts in here. I've done a lot of things to really kind of destroy this place in a manner, so I'm out trying to do some work to clean it up and make a video out of it in the process to show to you guys. So what I'm pulling out here today is a Woods landscape rake, an LRS 96P. It's just a basic angling 3-point hitch landscape rake behind the tractor, and I'm using that rake really today to go through and pick up the corn stubble and the rocks and the sticks and stuff that are in the field. The landscape rakes are one of those things I probably would call an underappreciated implement. It's one of those things that we don't tend to sell a whole lot of. They're not incredibly popular because it's one of those kind of nebulous things that you may not be 100% sure what to do with it. One of the best things that landscape rakes tend to excel at is raking, okay? Let's not overcomplicate this, right? If you could rake it in your yard with a rake, you could rake it in a field with a tractor. And that's very much what I'm using this to do. So as I'm going back and forth here, you'll notice the rake will pick up the rocks and the stubble and that kind of stuff. But the fingers are gonna let the dirt and stuff go back through the teeth. The rake does do a little bit of the leveling of the soil. Where it's loose on the top, it will break it loose to a point and spread it out a little bit. But when I get into my ruts, especially the tire ruts that I left with the tractor over here, it's not aggressive enough to really pull that stuff along. So when you think landscape rake, you're spreading loose material, maybe using a little bit of final grade for dirt and that kind of thing, but it's not something that you're gonna use for like road repair and those kinds of things. There's nothing about it that's aggressive enough to really break up compacted soils or stones or those kinds of things. The material really has to be loose for the rake to be able to do much with it. If you had picked one of these up for your tractor already, you probably learned that this is a piece that's really doesn't take a whole lot of power from the tractor, right? So kind of the normal guideline when you're sizing implements, for the most part, you're gonna cover the tire track of your machine, and if the implement angles, you're gonna go a foot wider than that so that when it's turned sideways, it's gonna cover the tire track of your machine. You can see though I put a 96-inch rake behind this tractor that normally takes a 72-inch loader bucket and is probably about 68 inches across the back tires. I do that because a rake like this, the extra width isn't gonna hurt you at all. It just helps you get a little bit more quickly. That added width does cause a little bit of a penalty possibly when you're in uneven ground. So when you have that angled sideways, I do look behind me at times and see like my side or right side digging in because it is such a long piece. It's not maintaining contact across the entire surface of this uneven ground at one time. So just like you would think with a mower deck, right? If you start to get too big, you start to scalp. The landscape rake's gonna do exactly the same thing. When it gets too big, it doesn't want to contour real well, but your tractor's not going to struggle with the extra width, and if you have a relatively flat soil, it is going to help you get done more quickly. New tractor owners are frequently confused by all the adjustments that there are in a 3-point hitch.
and at what times you might use different ones. This rake here and the way that it's angled is a really good example of the purpose of the top link. So when you take an implement and you twist it sideways like this, if it's not level right here in this assembly, the end of it here is going to lift up in the air as it pivots around. So once you have this on your 3-point hitch, by using your 3-point top link, you can stand this thing upright to basically level so that when you pivot the rake assembly here, it's going to lay flat on the ground. You can see here as I crank my top link out and bring this thing closer to level, the far end of my rake out here drops closer back down to the ground where it should be, so that I'm getting contact across this entire thing. So thanks for coming along with me here today and being entertained while I get a little bit of work done. So that's a little bit of a landscape rake. If you have the need for any implements like this so we can help, give us a call at Messick's. We're available at 800-222-3373 or online at messick's.com.